Hello everybody, this is Howard the Teaserking coming to you with week one of college football. I noticed the numbers for over-unders finally came out for the August 30th week. I was a little disappointed with one of the over-unders. The Houston-Oklahoma game I was hoping would be 70 and it came out at 80, and it'll still get to 100, so it'll be a high-scoring game. Anyway, I'm excited for college. I posted my plays. The lock's out there. I posted another 3 or 4 games. Really like. What am I looking for the first week? Solid coaches. I'm looking for good quarterbacks, good defenses, of course the trends, and who am I betting against? Teams that lost their quarterbacks, new coaches, things like that. So let's go with a couple of games. I'm going to go back to 2 games like I usually do. Just thought I would change it up a little bit and last year, but I think it's better to give both games. So let's look at it. Week 1, you got to remember, practice. A lot of these teams are playing Division II as their exhibition. Why the pros don't just play a college team as their exhibition. So, like New England can play Connecticut as their preseason game and then get into the NFL thing. I'll talk about the pros in another video. This is college. So, week 1. So, I'm going to go right off the bat with my favorite team. Army's laying 23 to Rice. And what the heck's the over-under there? Over-under, I didn't write it down. It's 50, call it 50. And let me get another over-under, 63. Okay, so what we have is Army minus 23, over under of 50. Army's got a very strong team. They're going to run it down your throat. They got a senior quarterback who's extremely good. They're adding a little bit of passing, just enough. They dominated last year. Rice on the road. Freshman quarterback. New coach. A terrible team. So let's get into some numbers. So when I first look at Rice, now in the beginning I got to look at last year's numbers for a starting point, but understanding, like for example, West Virginia scored 40 points a game last year. You lost Will Greer, the number 1 quarterback in the draft last year. He'll be a starter for Baltimore by week 7 or 8. They're not going to score 40 points a game, plus their coach left. So that's what I mean. You look at it, if everything remains even. Let's look at Texas. Texas scored 31 a game. Sam Ellinger, the quarterback's still there. The coach is still there. They'll probably score at least 31 a game, if not more. So I can make that assumption. Iowa State, their team's pretty solid. They gave up 22 a game. They'll probably give up 19 or 20 a game. So that's what I mean. But when the coach leaves and the quarterback leaves, I can't sit there and go, wow, West Virginia's going to score 40 points. Not going to happen. Anyway, just for example, so let's look at Rice. Rice scored 19 a game, gave up 36. I call Rice a Z team. They don't score and they give up a lot. Terrible defense. I got their defense as a 5. That's as bad as you can get. On my scale, 1 is the best, 5 is the worst. It's a new coach, is Bloomgren. He was the coach at Stanford. They have no quarterback. They're going to go in with a defense that gives up 36 to my Army team. Army now should remain the same. Calvin Hopkins, still the quarterback. Same coach. Outstanding team. They'd scored 33 a game. So you think, wow, they're just running the ball. They won't score a lot. Yeah. Ask Arizona State in the bowl game. Or somebody they killed in the bowl game. I was going to say Arizona State, but I think Fresno State beat them. Army, 33 a game, gives up 17. That's the key. They're what's called an A team. They score 32, 33 points. So it's not like they score 20 or 23. They get into the 30s and they only give up 17. Great offense, great defense. They running the ball. They got a senior quarterback. So you can't really look at his numbers from as a passer like you could the kid from Clemson or the kid from Oklahoma and go, wow, they threw for 40 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. You can't look at it there, but you do look at it like this guy, he could run the ball extremely well. They're going to run it down Rice's throat. Rice has a freshman quarterback. That's going to be 2 or 3 at least turnovers. It gives us some short fields. Army's just going to run the ball. It's not like they're going to have timing issues. Like week 1, you're going to have timing issues. It's like when the teams take that break off for the bowl game and all of a sudden it takes them the first half for the quarterback to get into the rhythm with his receivers. Well, here, it's just run it down their throats. So here goes Army. They're going to score in the 30s. They don't give up much. Rice, at best, last year scored 18. And this is the same coach. So if we just look at it superficially, Army's going to be mid to upper 30s and the 40s. Rice will be lucky to get 10. Without inexperienced quarterback in a defense that can't stop the wind. You can't practice it. Rice doesn't play Navy. They don't play Army. They don't play Georgia Southern. They're not playing an option team. So therefore, they're at a very severe disadvantage because you can't practice it. Army's laying 23. So let's go inside the numbers. 2017, 2018 trend. Army is 22-1, 6-1 at home, 4-0 on the road as a favorite. They're 10-1 as a favorite. They're 12-0 as a dog. The 10 they lost was a lock to Miami of Ohio, and the quarterback didn't play. I know because I had him. And the ironic thing is, one of my customers bought the lock Saturday, and at the time the quarterback announced he wasn't playing, the line dropped from I think it was 7.5 down to 4. He got Army +2, and they won by 1. They won the game. So here you have Army 22-1, 17-18, and if we go back to 16, I'm not sure it's as strong. That's 28-5. They're only 85%. They're 7-3 as a home favorite. But as a dog, they are 15-1 and 20-2 on the road. So Army plays well as a dog, including the game at Oklahoma. And the following week, they're at Michigan. Like I said, give me more than 20. And I'm betting Army really big week 2. The Michigan won't know what they're dealing with. And it's Army's defense that's incredible. So let's go back here to Rice. So in this game, the game's at Army. Rice is a road dog. Rice is a road dog's 10-4 the last 17-18. 10-4 with or 10-4 against. If we just look at 18 to really spell it out, Rice is 7-0 as a road dog, 5-2 against, so very good. And Army is 11-0. Well, it can't be. It must be 10. Well, I guess it's like they won and they it was a win-lose, so it's like 10-1 last year. So that's what you have against the number. So again, if Rice has a new quarterback, apparently he's a freshman. If you believe the magazine, they kind of supposedly watch all the spring practices and walk away, okay, this kid, he's a freshman, he's going to be the quarterback. So that's my note. Well, for sure you got a new quarterback, and you got a coach that wants to run the ball, which you're not going to do against Army. And they just don't have the talent. They don't have the defense. Again, the way upsets happen is strong defenses. Army's got the strong defense here, not Rice. Army, I look at Army to win big, probably by 40 or so. Take Army minus the 17. I can't bet it over under because I think Army's going to score a lot. I don't see Rice scoring. And Rice isn't the team you're going to go over with. So it's hard to go under. You just don't know which way to go. Probably it would be more of an over, but I like Army too much. So take Army, lay the 17 points. Love the game, absolutely. Army's the team. Now, as I said in my other video, the difference is last year Army would be laying 7 points, and it was simply take Army, lay the 1, lay the 2, and every game was a lock. Here you're laying 17, so you've got to be a little more prudent. But because they're playing Rice at home with the new quarterback in his first game, that's why I feel like they're gonna put up a big number. Because Army, when they get rolling, they just keep running the ball, and there's nothing you can do. And it's 21, it's 28, it's 35, it's 42, and you're not moving the ball on them. You don't have a quarterback. So, game 1, take Army, lay the 17 all day. Game 2, Wake Forest laying 3.5 to Utah State, over under 63. Wake, let me see, let's talk about Wake. I don't normally like to go the Mountain West playing like a SEC team or a Big Ten team. This is an ACC team, Wake. If I look at Wake, they score 32, they give up 33. Very weak defense. Good quarterback, Sam Hartman. They got, they can score. They put up, they put up 450 yards a game, 236 passing, 214. So they're a very balanced team, which is good. So they're going to score, but they give up a lot. They're going to give up 33 points. So they're going to give up. Let's look at Utah State. And this is the point of the bet. Utah State has a first-round draft pick quarterback, Jordan Love. This team put up 47.5 points. They played Utah and BYU last year. 47.5. They only give up 22. They're an A team. Quarterback's fantastic. Defense is very strong, a 2. And they got 500 yards, 300 passing, 200 running last year. They do have a new coach, was their old coach. This coach went to Texas Tech. So I keep my eye on Texas Tech, but not this year. So they got the coach, but he used to be the Utah State coach. He went to Wisconsin and Oregon State. He comes back. I always wonder when the coach leaves and then comes back. It's just, ask Connecticut how that's working out. But I think he'll be okay. But the key here is Jordan Love. I don't think the new coach is going to screw things up. And then here's Jordan Love. Now let's get into the stats we can get into now. So when I look at the quarterback, Utah State, they're in the mountain. Here it is. Jordan Love, 13 games, 64% completion, 275 a game, 32 touchdowns and only 6 picks, only 9 sacks. This is a guy that's 32-6. He's a winner. They were great last year. They're going to score and score often. They're a very good live dog because they have a good defense, but the quarterback's going to keep them in the game. And he's going to score. And very easily they can win. They have the defense to beat Wake Forest. They have the better defense. So let's look at Wake. Let's look at Hartman. So Hartman. Played in 9 games, so he must have been injured. 55%, 16 touchdowns and 8 picks, 220 yards. Now they did run the ball, and they will run it on Utah State, but Utah State's got an excellent defense. So it'll be easier for Utah State to move the ball than it's going to be for Wake. Now keep in mind, Utah State played Michigan State last year in the opening game and lost 38-31, and everybody was like, how did that? Michigan State couldn't stop them. And then finally at the end, Michigan State scored 38-31. Michigan State could only beat them by 7, but the key there is they put up 31 points on that defense. Now, you don't think that's good. Let's look at Michigan State's defense just to show you. At the end of the year, they gave up 17 points a game. With the 31 going to Utah State, scored 14 more than anybody else did. So there you go, to put up, and I love this analysis, when you put up 31 on Michigan State, you're not going to have trouble putting it up on Wake Forest, who gives up 33 a game. That's my point. So the quarterbacks goes with Jordan Love, much stronger. They can run the ball. They've got the better defense. Let's go inside the numbers. So we go to Utah State. Now this is at Wake Forest. They're getting 2.5, 3.5. You're getting more than a touchdown. Very key. Utah State 5-2 as a road dog. 4-3 against. I keep in mind they're a road dog to Fresno State, to Boise State, at BYU. I know they won there. So they're very live. Wake is a home favorite. 3-1 with, 3-1 against. Wake at home against is 9-2. 6-1 as a home dog, and 3-1 as a home favorite, meaning if you bet against them in the 11 games, you're 9-2. So Wake's 3-1, 3-1. So that means they play close games at home. Granted, mostly they're ACC, but I look at Utah State, could beat half the ACC very easily. I love that argument. Well, they're a Power 5. They're not a Power 5. They're in the Mountain West. And it's like Boise could win the Big Ten, and Fresno could win the Big Ten and the ACC. Okay, you got Clemson, and I don't know what's going on there. They must be paying their guys a lot of money, same as Alabama. They're writing the checks. They're giving them cars and houses and all that crap to get all the good players, which is, that's something else. But anybody but Clemson, Utah State, Boise, Fresno State would be in the ACC, the Big Ten. They could easily win the Big Ten. In the SEC, the only teams they couldn't beat is Alabama and Georgia. I'd like to see them play Alabama, because Alabama doesn't see this type of defense. Maybe with LSU and maybe with Old Mississippi State last year, and they only scored in the 20, but neither team had an offense like Utah State. You got Jordan Love, and these quarterbacks give Alabama fits. Johnny Manziel, Chad Kelly. So Utah State would be able to score on Alabama, and Fresno State, Utah State would score on them, but Fresno State would shut them down and have a good chance there. So it's just they're not common, so you don't know, who's watching Fresno State, Utah State, Teaserking. How many of the games did I lock last year with Army and Fresno State? It was incredible. All right, let's go back to 2016, 17, and 18. Gives us 3 years. Does anything change? Utah State 7-4 as a road dog, 7-4 against. So they're not. It's not incredible. They're better at home as a home favorite. They're 9-1. Wake 5-4 as a home favorite, 4-4 as a home dog, 7-2 against as a home favorite, 7-1 against. So they're 14-3 against. So there's a little bit of numbers that you go against Wake here. So we looked at the quarterbacks. We looked at the defense. So why do I like Utah State? Utah State can score, and certainly as well Wake. This should be a high-scoring game. Also, the over-under here is 63, which shows you they're anticipating lots of scoring. I think you could play the game over. I'm actually going with the dog, because Utah State against Michigan State last year, Utah State scores 48 a game, and there's no evidence Wake Forest found a a great defense to stop them. So there's your two. Take Utah State an 8.5, 9. Take the Army, lay 17, 18. You're betting against Rice, so it's strong going against weak. And Utah State has the better quarterback, the better defense. Even though they're on the road and it's Wake, it's probably to me an even game. If I told you pick the game without a spread, Utah State, Wake Forest, could you pick the winner? You'd probably go with Wake Forest close. Utah State could easily win this game. They're a fine road team. So you get the 9. You get more than a touchdown there. I think it's 8.5, 9 right now. Play them as 6-point teasers. One thing I'm noticing is the odds. Play the game. If you're in Vegas, or you can play it with William Hill. There's no juice on teasers. At least there wasn't last year. Stay away from the Wynn and some of these bigger casinos. Their odds, the MGM, terrible odds. Play all your pro teasers at William Hill, which is inside these smaller casinos, and the best odds. And then the pros, you can play those anywhere. Just obviously look for the best odds, but stick with 6-point teasers. Since 1977, I started playing them. I really don't see the difference between 6 and 7. If I like the game, I like here. I'm Army 45 to 10. Okay, so I'm not worried about a point or two. I got Utah State winning the game 41-38. I'm not worried about them winning, or it's 8.5, I need 10. It's nice, but I don't care about that. I'm looking at the game going, Utah State can easily win this game, and I'm getting more than a touchdown. They've got the better quarterback. They've got the better defense. That's what I'm looking for. So point doesn't matter to me. I'm not picking games I don't pick the games that are close, and I'm not picking them because of the number. I'm picking them because of the matchup. Army will kill Rice. Rice does not have an offense. Utah State should win the game, but it's going to be close because they got the quarterback. And even if they're down late in the game, he's going to push them. They're going to score and win the game, or make it a 1 or 2 point game, or go to overtime. That's what you have there. So I don't need, it's nice to get it over 7, and I'll bet more on it because it's more than 7. But that's not what I'm betting. I'm not looking at I don't go and say, oh, they're lane 2, I can get 8. I don't know who the team is, but I get 8, I'm going to bet it. And I know people who do that, and they're out of their minds. That's not how it works. You've got to look at the matchup. You've got to look, especially now, we're looking at quarterbacks. That's who I'm betting week 1. Solid quarterbacks. Jordan Love, the kid from Army. What's his name? Calvin Hopkins. Proven winners. I expect them both to win the game and win. Army win big and Utah State to win. I'm not dicking around with, who is, let's see. I'm not dicking around with Boise State against Florida State. I don't know who their quarterback is. He'll probably be good. And as long as it's not a freshman or his first start, I think Boise's probably a senior. He'll probably be fine. Probably take the first half. I know Boise, they'll probably win the game straight up. That's what Boise does. But that's what I'm looking at. I don't mess around. I'm not playing Wyoming. I don't know who their quarterback is. I'm not playing Washington State. I don't know who their quarterback is. Or Washington, for that matter, or USC. I don't know who their quarterback is. They're inexperienced. It's a live game. It's going to take them 2-3 games to get up to speed, to get used to being hit, to get used to reading defenses. It comes quicker. And that's why I'm like, no, they're Jordan Love. He's my man. Army. All I got to do is run the ball down their throats. Justin Herbert, Oregon. Khalil Tate, Arizona. Brady White, Memphis, Teaserking. I mean, these are the quarterbacks. Clemson, Iowa, Nebraska. They're quarterbacks. You know who you got. It's solid. That's who you look for the week 1, week 2, and probably week 3. Now, after week 3, all of a sudden, is the Wisconsin quarterback any good? Is the Purdue quarterback? Penn State. How's the Ohio State good? You can't bet them the first week, but you can certainly bet them after 3 weeks, and if they've played anybody good. This was the problem with Shea Patterson at Michigan when he was at Ole Miss. He didn't play anybody. So he looks great. The first 3-4 games, he's beaten Pacific, he's beaten, Wyoming, and nobody. And I keep an eye on him, I go, wow, this guy's really good. And then I notice he played nobody. He played teams that give up 40 points a game. He gets into the SEC. He plays Alabama. He plays LSU. He plays Mississippi State or Georgia or whoever. He does nothing. They get shut out. He's terrible. A lot of interceptions. That shows you the worth of the quarterback. So try to get the quarterback in a big game who wins, and then you've got the quarterback to bet on. So anyway, my lock is out there. I think I have 4 games plus the lock. 15-unit lock. I love it. Absolutely. I love it more and more. The more I see the lines, the more I see the over-unders. The over-unders just came out, I think today or yesterday. And I was really tempted I wanted to lock the Houston, Oklahoma over. And I say it in the video, if it was 70, I would lock it. Damn over-under comes out at 80, means 74. I still think that by the end of the third quarter, they're in the 80s, and they'll be in the hundreds. By the end of the game, the score will be 100. 2 great quarterbacks, 2 great offensive coaches. Because the West Virginia coach is now the Houston coach, and the Eric King's a great quarterback. And then you got Jalen Hurts at Oklahoma. I don't know, but Oklahoma, it seems like me and you could go play quarterback there and put up 50 points. It's a very good system thing. So Hurts, he's not great, but I think here they'll put up the points. Neither team's got a defense. By halftime, I'd imagine they're in the 50s. 30-20, and then it's another 40 or 50 by the second half. So you're easily looking at a 100-point game. But it's just hard to lock an 80-point game, even though this is probably the game you could lock the 80-point game with and not have a problem. You just love the coaching and the quarterbacks. Really good. I mean, that's the thing. They're not going to run the ball too much. So anyway, I gave you in the other video the numbers. Who's a good team to bet on and who's good to bet against. Alabama, Army, huge, and it's hard to practice against that offense. The only teams you got to be careful with is when they play Air Force and Navy, Georgia Southern. All run the Army, Navy offense, and so they practice it. So it's very hard for them, if they can't throw the ball, to just keep running the same plays because the defense have seen it in practice. But you can't practice it if they're playing Kansas State. Kansas State can't practice Army's style. Baylor can't practice it. Texas, hard to practice against it. Maybe not them, but more like, Middle Tennessee and Southern Miss and, Rice and UTEP and San Antonio. Those teams just have no idea what they're getting into and how to stop it. But I'll tell you, in the Navy Conference, you've got Houston and Memphis and UCF, Cincinnati. They all play Navy. So if Army was playing one of those teams, I'd be more careful because they play Navy every year, and I believe Tulane also runs it. So I think Navy and Tulane both run that. Tulane runs the Navy offense, and Navy runs it. So they're you have to be careful, because the more exposure you get to it, then you can shut it down. They can't pass, and once you've learned to shut it down, it's hard for them. So then the shoe's on the other foot. Anyway, good luck. I'm excited for week 1 in college. Do not bet these exhibition games in the pros. They're so stupid now, where they're so afraid of injuries. They don't play anybody. By week 1, it's going to be a nightmare. There's going to be so many pulled hamstrings and pulled muscles. Nobody's going to be there for the fourth quarter. Maybe New England, the only smart team. So basically what every team's doing is giving away 1 or 2 weeks of the season. Instead of just playing your guys like a quarter in the game 2 and a half in game 3 and a half in game 4, and now they got their win, and now they can play 4 quarters. You're not playing them. What do you expect them in the first game to just go play 4 quarters and not be tired and not pull muscles? You're out of your mind. And your timing's not there, because you can't emulate practice with the game, and so everybody's very weak. So keep that in mind. For the pros, week 1, 2, and 3, it's Tom Brady, it's Drew Brees, it's Aaron Rodgers, those quarterbacks. Mahomes probably, where they don't really need the practice, Phillip Rivers. But the rest of these guys, they're going to be in big trouble, a lot of unders. But anyway, here you see this. So good luck. It starts the 24th. With the 2 games, the Hawaii, Arizona, and Florida, Miami. I guess Miami starting a freshman quarterback. Be careful with it. Yes, it seems, oh, good. He's still going to Miami. He's still a good quarterback. And this is where you really get caught into it. You bet Miami, you bet Florida because of the quarterback, and the guy turns out to be a superstar, and you lose because you've never seen the quarterback. That's all I'm saying. Be careful with it. It's not such an obvious lock. Take Florida down to 1 because the Miami quarterback is a freshman. He wouldn't be playing if he didn't know what he was doing. It's not like he's at Oregon State or Colorado and he's just stepping out on the field and he's never played before. So do keep an eye on the new quarterbacks, the new coaches. Watch what you're looking for. Really is, how does a team, you're looking for that Army against Oklahoma, they take them to overtime. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for that. If Houston beats Oklahoma, then you're going, yeah, I'm on Houston. That'll go a long way if they get that upset or play them very good. So keep an eye on that. Fresno State plays USC the first week. I will not be surprised if Fresno State gets the W. If they had the quarterback from last year, it'd be a lock getting 14 points up to 20 with Fresno State and that defense. That defense is still nasty, but they've lost their quarterback, so you got to respect that. But watch that upset. It's not an upset. Fresno State, I believe, has the better team. It's just not the brand, but pretty freaking good. They got the old Cal coach, Tedford, who would do very well at Cal, but then he never had the defense. And the ironic part is, here at Fresno State, he's got one of the top 5 defenses in the country, and he doesn't have that glorious Deshaun Jackson, Aaron Rodgers on offense. And they're doing fine. So defense wins when run properly. You got to give them some offense, but I love betting on these defensive teams. They pull the upset. They hold down the offense. And I love betting against. One other over note. Oregon State's playing Oklahoma State. Oregon State gave up 45 last year a game, and Oak State gave up 32. Oak State's got a new quarterback, and so does Oregon State. Oregon State supposedly has a really good quarterback, and they're supposed to put up a lot of points. We'll see. Oak State always puts up a lot of points, and I look for them to have a big year. So that could be an over. It's certainly an over game. So the Oklahoma game's over, Oklahoma State's over, and the Arizona-Hawaii is over. Those are the 3 obvious overs. But you got to be the spreads or the points are really high. So be careful on those, but they should be high-scoring games. All right, everybody. Well, good luck. www.teaserking.com, of course. By the week, definitely. I've lowered my prices on the full year. You can buy the month. That's very affordable and very good price. I believe it's $250 for the pros or $250 for the college for 4 weeks. That's like $60 a week. And I think it's only $350 for both of them. And you always get the locks in there, and you can always give me an email going, who do you like here, and how strong should I do it? And I see your picks. Should I play a 5-team teaser, which I would give you the 5 teams? Absolutely. So now's to do it. Give me an email. You want a little discount? Absolutely. I'm here to really help people and make people money. I do it all the time with gold, and I keep saying you got the tariffs, and gold's going to go up, and it's already up to 15. It's going to go to 2,000. It should probably go to 3,000. So my point is, I just tell people. I tell my friends at work. I tell my friends at home. Gold's going up, and I get nothing for it. They make money. They buy the gold. They buy the gold stock. My KLs. I did a video, I don't know, when KL was 22, 23. It's at 47 now. So I don't make anything out of it. I just get pleasure in watching my friends make some money. That's all I'm doing here, although I am selling the picks, because this is football. This is a business that I'm running here, but that's how I am. So I want you to make money. I don't want it to be a hindrance, but I do want to get rewarded for my skill set, which is extremely unique and rare in this arena. I'm very highly thought of. So anyway, good luck. Week 1, www.teaserking.com. Good luck. Take Army, take Utah State. Good luck. Teaser King.